So back on the SUV, and today I'm going to be removing the leveling kit for it. So this is a 2007 Nissan Xterra. I've been doing a bunch of work on it, but one of the issues I run into is that the ride is horrible. It is stiff, bumpy, yeah, and obviously we have some suspension issues. So now the first thing that I'm not a fan of, I don't know if I can capture this on the camera, see if I can get back, and I'm already zoomed out, is I don't know if you can see it, but this side, right over here, the rear sits a little bit lower, this sits higher. The previous owner put in a 2.5-inch rough country leveling kit, and from what I read, and you can obviously see, puts this a little higher. Not a fan of that, and I also believe that it's one of the issues that I'm having with the ride, just because it's just, unnecessary stress on the shock, to say the least. But moving on to the rear, I changed the differential recently, and what I found was that the shock on the driver's side is seized. I mean, not seized in the sense that I can't take it off, but it does not go up and down freely. It will not compress at all. I got it to compress a little bit, and then it seized right up again. So that one is bad. And the passenger side is just there as a placeholder. It doesn't even do anything. So we're going to be changing this to Bilsteins. I love them. I put them in all my vehicles. It makes the ride a lot smoother. It makes the vehicle handle a lot better. So hopefully that helps with the ride. It's going to bring the truck down a little bit, well, 2.5 inches, but I think it'll be fine. Eventually, I do plan to put a leveling kit in it. Well, not leveling kit. I do plan to put a lift kit in it and do it the right way, but at least to get this thing riding a lot better, more daily it, and at least be able to get it on the trails once I get some better tires for it. That's where we need to start. So let's get started. So we'll start on the passenger side, primarily because it gives me more room in my garage. So first thing we got to do is take off this cotter pin, which I'm probably using the wrong tool for it, but it's okay. Actually, this was kind of easy. I think this is like a 22. Hopefully this should come off easy. Kind of figured this would come off easy because this has been messed with, so it makes this job a lot easier. Now we got the 4 strut tower mounts, whatever you want to call them, bolts. These should be 14s. Nope, 15. Go ahead and loosen this. This is going to be a 19, I think. Yep. That's a 19. And I think the back over here should be a 17. Maybe an 18. Yeah, it's going to be 2 19s. The thing what I'm going to have to do is loosen this stabilizing bar, and then I'll be able to get to that. That's probably going to be the best thing to do. Alright, so before we do that, let's pop this thing up. There we go. That's why we leave the nut on. Really wish I had a 22 impact. That'd make this a lot quicker. But, you know, it is what it is. All right. All right, these should be 19. I should be able to squeeze this in right there. Yep, that's gonna come out. All right, so we got 2 bolts there. I think those are 14. Let's get at them. There we go. And that should allow us to get the Alright, that slides down. There we go. Very nice. Wow. A lot of stuff there. That was a great idea, just dropping it where I work, obviously. So the trick is, get it in, tap it in, make sure it's wedged where you can't get it out, and then use this impact adapter. Seems to be working good. And now this one. Junk. This thing just trapped all this stuff in here. Oh my gosh. So now that that has been freed, we could go ahead and pop this back in. And this will be a lot easier because we don't have that lift. So let's get this thing slide back right in here. Now honestly, this would be the perfect time to do control arms and every other thing, but on a budget. So as I've been fighting with this, I've had a striking discovery. These struts were not put on properly. So they're supposed to be positioned this way in the way they were installed, and they were the other way. I know that kind of affects the balance rate. There is some science to it. I do know that for a fact, and I've had vehicles where the ride was garbage, and yeah, this was the reason for that. So that is pretty interesting. This was not done right when they did the leveling kit. Cool deal. And I can prove that because this side is not painted and I've painted all of this. Oh man, that's so much easier without all that added room. All right, so not too bad. That was installed backwards, but other than that, everything else looks pretty good. This ball joint is like solid. No play on that. So it's good because I won't need a upper control arm. Pretty nice. Still would like to refresh this, but it's definitely making me think because this is, yeah, that still felt pretty good. Side note, if this thing is spinning, just take your breaker bar and just wedge it right there in the frame, push up on it while the nut is in there. That'll put pressure on it, and then you could just buzz it back in. Pretty simple. So this side is done. I'm gonna go do the other side off camera, and after that, we'll move on to the rear shocks of the vehicle. That's pretty easy. A few days later, and I got my Bilstein, I'm not sure how you actually say it, shocks. Now these are for the rear. Ideally, when I do this, I'd rather change all 4 of them. It really helps to get a nice ride, but number one, I need to do the ball joints, tie rods, get in alignment, and I just don't want to just change out the struts and ignore everything else, but we'll come back. But now I do have to change these because, like I said, I believe it's the driver's one that is frozen and does not collapse, and the passenger one just wiggles around like crazy. So let's get the tools. It's mostly 17s and 19, might be an 18. I'll just bring everything down under there. Now, I changed the differential on this, so this is going to be a lot easier because the bolts have already been soaked. They've been loosened, but if not, they might be a little tight, especially if you live in the crusty area. So this one's going to be a 17. See if I can get my big impact in it. Oh, 19. I think what I'm gonna do now is just unbolt these. 14 on this side, 14 over there. And that'll let the sway bar swing down. Got a washer. I should put a little silicone paste on it. That should make that slide nice and easy. Probably way too much. Now for this part, typically we could just slide it in. So now on the passenger side, we got that bolt. It's a little tight to get in. Like I said, I've taken this apart before, so hopefully this don't fight me too much. All right, same thing over here. Pure muscle and strength. Perfect. All right, so let's get these in. This would be the perfect time to replace these, but we're just gonna put a little grease in them. It'll be fine. Upgrades coming soon, folks. Definitely in the future. Not bad. All right, so that wasn't so bad. So let's take these shocks. Let's see. See, this is that driver one. It just does not. I mean, I'm giving this like a ton of force and it's barely moving. So yeah. But then again, you saw how quickly it released. And this is the passenger one. I mean, like nothing. Slowly returning, but I mean, yeah. Definitely time for replacement. I mean, I'm sure this one had a couple more miles on it, but this one, definitely not. So the rear shocks on this are really easy to do. The biggest advice that I can give you is take down the spare tire, as that's going to give you a lot of room to buzz out those bolts. 17, 19, very simple. And by doing this on the ground, not jacking it up, you don't have to worry about the load on the bushings. It's already on the weight of the vehicle. So it makes it a lot simple, in my opinion. Torquing it down, yes, there is torque specs. Use common sense. That's pretty much what I'm gonna say on that. But I should expect a better ride. I still got a few more things I gotta do on this before I really start enjoying it. But as you can see, one was stuck. The other one just kind of wanted to do whatever it wanted to do. So very happy for that. And like I talked about earlier, ideally I would love to replace the front ones with Bilsteins, but we're not there yet. Now, my reason for removing the leveling kit was, number one, the rake in the front. You got the front sitting a little higher than the back. The ride was real stiff, but as I got in there, I saw that they put the struts incorrectly. That could be the reason for it. But after taking that out, the vehicle looks a lot better. The angle of the tires, they don't look so bowed and kind of cattywampus as they were. And also another thing I've noticed, I actually have give in the front. Before, this thing would just not move. So it could be a combination of the leveling kit just kind of maxing out the strut. It could have been just the struts are backwards, not sure, but pretty confident when I take this for a ride, the ride should be a lot smoother. And as far as my plans for the front, I am going to keep this leveling kit and do it the right way. I mean, they're about $80 to $120, but I could get a 1-inch for the rear, which would make sure this thing is not raking too much in the front. Put the proper control arms to accommodate the leveling kit, and yeah, just take it from there with a whole bunch of other things, some camber bolts. So we'll see. I plan to have fun with this rig, eventually get it on the trails and on the beach. So stay tuned. We'll continue to do upgrades and everything. With 209,000 miles, I truly believe this Xterra has plenty of life left. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.